And so it's time to begin. Chapter 1. The Angel's Metropolis. Now this is the first kind of proper chapter of the game, so kind of this is where the story kind of starts to begin in earnest. Now this map thing here is basically an intro to where our game is going to take place. It was something that was planned from the very beginning, but because Enzo's speech is quite long, the plane wound up flying incredibly slowly. Also, a lot of people kind of say that the trip would have been a lot easier if Bayonetta had headed the other way. But Kamiya-san was happy that she made it to Japan to probably visit Platinum Games in Osaka. That's how he feels her journey took place.
I love sticking it to the rich. Of course, when you do, don't forget your old buddy Enzo stuck his neck out on this one.
Okay, chill. We'll try. I mean, it's not exactly like we're going to be able to do a whole lot.
The trail gets cold, off to the middle of nowhere, paradise of Europe. Vigrid.
So yes, this is where our story takes place. Vigrid. Now, the music that you just heard was actually, I'm not sure what that song was. Doesn't actually appear to be on the soundtrack. Oh well. And here we have a little bit of Let's Dance Boys. Now, that walk there was actually an ad-lib. And probably frazzled Shimomura-san a bit, but the logo was placed over it and it looks quite awesome. Also, they had actually recorded dialogue for Bayonetta here, but they decided it would be cooler if she just simply kept calm and said nothing as this voice talked to her in her head. We'll find out about that voice later.
So, this is supposed to be paradise?
Yeah, I'd say it looks a bit grim to be paradise if you ask me. But here we have Vigrid's Central Station platform. The music is Vigrid Station Home. It's quite a big area, and already there's a little secret that we can unlock. Basically, if you go around the top level and destroy all of the benches, then you can get the train to leave, allowing you to net a broken moon pearl, which is your magic. So that ups it, and which you need to do if you want it. Now you can see kind of the station sign, and pretty much I believe what's on there is angel script. I mean, there's lots of places in the game where you'll find the angelic script, which is basically just the fancy writing used for the angelic language. So there's lots of hidden details in Bayonetta like this. Now, the headings on the board that's just up there seem to say Tsunuji 7.45 usual, and down the Tsunuji column are Owada, Samitagawa, Ikebi, Hasio, Tajima, Kuroda, Tadamamoto, Iwami, Yuzaki, Kuemai, Hirahata, and Saidaiji. So there's them. Also, if you stand on the train as it's leaving, you get an extra 10,000 halos, which you probably want. Now, as you just saw there, Bayonetta can do a taunt. This kind of changes depending on the weapon she's holding, generally. But if you hold it for long enough, then you can get the one that she just did there. Which, if I recall correctly, is a reference to the More Cowbell sketch, which featured Christopher Walken. Basically, the original joke is, I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell, so that's where that probably comes from. Also, music here is Mysterious Destiny, which is the theme of Bayonetta, and it's awesome. Also, we have a massive key. I hope this isn't turning into Kingdom Hearts. As much as I love that series, I don't think it would quite fit with Bayonetta here. Also, here we have Antonio's notes, which basically cover extra information in the game, so we should look through all of these. I've been a journalist now for over 20 years, always aiming for the guiding light of truth, always pushing forward. I believe that communicating the truth is the core tenet of all journalism, chasing it until my legs turn to rubber and the truth is burned into my retinas. Though my journalistic career is an incredible wall, and I must confess that I've been crushed under the weight of the path I have travelled. It all began upon seeing beyond the stone-chiselled history of the old European city of Vigrid, and past the deep scars time had left behind. The passing of history has always been overseen by a select few, and they have left memories of a time stained with blood. This fact is integral in understanding the big picture, but it also causes one to hesitate before becoming involved in such a dark history. Treading down this path I believe so firmly in means I cannot afford to lose faith in my convictions. It may also mean that my life is put into jeopardy. However, I hold deep within my heart the hope that even after my soul has left this body, as long as these notes, my proof of being, are passed to the right man, future ages will also come to know the truth. They say that some things come at the cost of your life, but to me, truth is my life. In this age filled with lies and deception, I forever pray that truth will shine its light on the path of righteousness. Antonio Redgrave. Now, Antonio's notes were used to, as I believe I said a little bit before, used to explain aspects of the story that didn't fit into the script, and you only have to read them if you want to. Also, Kamiya-san wrote them himself. You also have these extra things. There's the hierarchy of Laguna, so you get to look at all the enemies, rarities, so you get to look at the Umbran Tears of Blood, which is basically your achievements, as well as other things that we'll be running into shortly. You also have the Tome of Umbran Arts, which tells us how to perform moves. The dodge offset is a very important technique. Basically, you hold the button as you dodge, and that allows you to continue your combo. Also, here we have the thing from Inferno. I can't remember what it's called because I went over that quite quickly, but here we have a nice description of Madama Butterfly. I was just infernal demons. So there's lots of kind of little hidden pieces of information throughout Bayonetta, and it just kind of embellishes the world, which I think is awesome. And here we finally get the ability to do Wicked Weaves, which is where Bayonetta's hair comes off the body and launches into an amazing attack. Now, the main reason that kind of they held off on allowing you to use Witch Time for a little bit was to make you feel all the more powerful when it actually appeared, which I think is quite awesome.
You've been naughty. I've got...
Now, I don't think I've quite mentioned. Well, I'll go on to that in a second. Because first, we have our first instance of witch time used for purposes like this. Basically, whenever you see these statues, you have to use them to bring a lightning strike down upon you. Then you've got to dodge it to enter witch time, so you can then cross a variety of things. Now, most people would automatically jump onto this platform that we have just created. However, we don't want to do that just yet, because a little secret has opened up for us. This being an Alpine, which is basically a hidden verse that is a massive challenge for us. Generally, you're kind of stuck to a limit. Like here, you've got to use witch time to kill enemies. Always under a time limit, always have a certain number of hits before you get killed. So you've got to be very good to be able to beat the Alpines. Alfheim itself originates in Norse mythology. It's one of the 9 worlds and home of the Light Elves. It also appears in kind of Anglo-Scottish ballads under the form of Elfheim as a fairyland, which is sometimes modernised as Elfland. So it's a popular... Norse mythology in general is quite popular. Now, if I recall correctly, you can actually see stuff on the Alpines, but not 100% sure. Also, you can hear the angels speaking something. This something is actually well, I don't quite know how to explain it really. It's apparently a fictional language. Well, it is a fictional language, but the guy who came up with it, John Dee and his colleague Edward Kelly in the late 16th century England, they claimed that it was real. So basically, it's the language of the angels. And it wasn't initially described as Enochian. But it's what has been put on it afterwards. Now, Bayonetta herself also uses Enochian, largely when she's summoning her torture attacks, and also when she's summoning infernal demons. You'll be able to see stuff a little bit later on, but pretty much the angels, the affinity, in particular, when attacking, seem to say Balthoa, which means for my own righteousness, and they also say Pampikas, which we can't seem to find a direct meaning for, but potentially some sort of insult. Also, they seem to say Tolham Tredza, which is all creatures diminish, and Mirkfapa. But this is also something we're not too sure about. Basically, the reason for Enochian is because Platinum Games is JP Callums who did the English adaptation, basically. He's the one responsible for most of the Enochian in the game. Another little Easter egg is if you just fire your gun with X at a wall, then Bayonetta will draw little pictures. Sometimes she'll draw a heart, and sometimes she'll draw a bee for her name, which is quite awesome. Kamiya-san's justification is that she knows exactly where each bullet is going. The guns themselves are actually really weak, but they do track enemies, so instead of using the lock-on, which is available, it's probably easier just to use that to track the enemies. There is the lock-on in the game, but you are better off using stuff without it.
I knew it. This town's teeming with heaven's little helpers.
And here we have Rodan again.
My buddies downstairs, awfully nervous.
And your point is?
Basically, this is integrating the shop function into the game world, and Rodan allows this to work brilliantly.
It got a special air about them. They're closer to Paradiso than anyone should ever be. And that shit just plain creeps me out. I guess I'm gonna have to set up shop here and score me some halos. These stupid rings are worth a fortune back home. Since it seems you're spoiling for a fight, if you come across any of these, bring them to me, and I'll hook you up.
Another one looking to line his pockets.
I know, this is just ridiculous, isn't it,
Beginning
Bayonetta?
to see why Enzo is so fond of you.
Real cute. But let's get one thing straight. Your fights are yours alone. I'm only here to watch my handiwork in action. So don't get any bright ideas about coming to me for help.
Oh, fine, miserable git.
You get one thing straight. I'm not the slightest bit interested in the fact that you made these guns.
To be perfectly honest, neither am I.
If you get in my way, I will... How do the Americans put it? Oh yes. Bust a cap in your ass.
Right on, baby.
And that is why it sounds so weird when people with a British accent say American phrases, because it just sounds so odd. Now, if you turn around and jump up here, you can get a broken witch heart, which, once you've collected 4, will allow you to increase your health. Also, if you look at the circle around the entrance to the Gates of Hell, you can see little bits of demonic script, which say, "From the darkness I draw my strength." You can also see them on the Wicked Weaves, but it's a bit more difficult to spot. So this is the Gates of Hell. You've got loads of things that you can buy. Well, I say loads of things you can buy. There's not a lot you can buy just yet. But there is a lot of stuff here that we will be making use of soon. The main thing you want to buy right now is the air dodge. That is the most important thing to buy right now. Everything else can leave, but you want the air dodge. So, that's our shopping trip finished. Let's continue.